Liberal Viewer presents.
So just before President Barack Obama signed historic health care legislation into law last week, Vice President Joe Biden spoke a blunt truth to him that got somewhat exaggerated in subsequent coverage, as you can see, for example, on the Fox News program America's Newsroom in this clip.
The web and the Beltway, a buzz this morning over Vice President Biden dropping the F-bomb during the big bill signing. Take a listen for yourself, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
Now, did you notice how Fox News anchor Martha McCallum said we could listen for ourselves and then bleeped out the crucial word which really exaggerated the incident, as you can see when you can watch the original live Fox News coverage of the same incident in this clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
So by bleeping out a word viewers couldn't really hear anyway, the Fox News coverage exaggerated the incident, I think, but that wasn't the only bias I noticed in the Fox News coverage of the signing of this historic legislation. The Fox News chyron summarizing the president's speech also did not sufficiently highlight the real achievements of the bill, instead emphasizing the 4-year implementation period for parts of the bill, which allows states to get ready to increase their coverage for Medicaid, as President Obama explained in his speech like this.
The bill I'm signing will set in motion reforms that generations of Americans have fought for and marched for and hungered to see. It'll take 4 years to implement fully many of these reforms because we need to implement them responsibly. We need to get this right. But a host of desperately needed reforms will take effect right away.
But when President Obama started listing the reforms that would take place this year, starting with a tax credit for small businesses, then moving to the end of discrimination by insurance companies against those with pre-existing conditions, those reforms never made it into the text of the Fox News chyrons, with Fox News emphasizing that 4-year implementation period instead, as you can see in this clip.
This year, tens of thousands of uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions, the parents of children who have a pre-existing condition, will finally be able to purchase the coverage they need. That happens this year.
And Fox News kept up that same chyron even as President Obama talked about much more immediate benefits, all the way up until he extolled the end of annual and lifetime benefit caps in health insurance policies, which also never made it into a Fox News chyron, as you can see here.
They won't be able to place lifetime limits or restrictive annual limits on the amount of care they can receive.
And none of these more immediate benefits made it into the text of a Fox News chyron, nor did the other benefits that President Obama mentioned, like allowing children to stay on their parents' insurance policies up until the age of 26. In fact, the only near-term benefit the Fox News chyron reported was the end of the Medicare Part D donut hole, with a chyron saying seniors who fall in coverage gap will get help, with the only other real surprise in what Fox News emphasized with on-screen text was a chyron showing President Obama's description of the over $1 trillion in deficit savings in the bill, though the Fox News text attributes those savings to an assertion of President Obama's, while that calculation actually comes from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. But still, the information in that chyron is better than the information available in that video I made last December when this bill originally passed the U.S. Senate, in which Fox News allowed a Republican senator to denigrate the budget implications of this bill in a supposed straight news interview without ever asking him about that over $1 trillion in deficit reduction. And now that the bill has become law, as imperfect as it is, I think I'll ask that same question I asked in that video when the bill passed the U.S. Senate last December. Is it worth giving up single-payer, the public option, and even a Medicare buy-in for those over 55 to get 30 million more Americans insured, an end to pre-existing condition exclusions and the other abuses prohibited by the Patient's Bill of Rights, and, of course, over $1 trillion of deficit reduction? And given that this historic improvement in the healthcare system passed without a single Republican vote, do you think the Republican Party will pay a long-term political price for unanimously opposing this historic step forward towards universal health care coverage for all Americans?
YouTube, you decide.